November 4th, 2008 was a historic day for many Americans. On that evening, 31-year-old Gary Griffin went back to his old neighborhood to cast a vote in the presidential election. Afterwards, his car ran out of gas. And while he was waiting for his sister to pick him up, he was approached and shot. Here's the tragic story.
When he was born, he came faster than all the kids. It only took me 2 hours to have him. All the rest of them took me like 14, 16.
Me, my 2 brothers, and my little sister, we've always been a close-knit family, no matter what was going on. So he was more than just my little brother. He was like my son, too, because my mother and father used to work. So I used to babysit, you know, and I know what my mother's going through because I feel like I lost my son, too.
He was my golden child. He was Gary Griffin Jr. He looked just like me, and he was just fun-loving. He was mischievous, but he was fun-loving.
He was one of the coolest people that you could be around. We were best friends, you know. That was my baby, even though we were only a couple years apart, but that was my baby.
I'm 7 years younger than my brother. So by us being so many years apart, we never really got a chance to spend time with each other all like that. But the times that we did spend with each other, we made the best of them when we did. He looked out for me and always protected me. It just was so fun to be around him because he was just a loving person. He always made you laugh. He would get a smile out of you regardless if you mad or not.
Life started catching up with him. He was in and out of prison. So I could only see him at glimpses here and there. So I just stuck around and waited for him to get out.
I just loved him for just being there when he could and when he was able to.
He had just got out of jail. He was working 2 jobs.
He was working and talking about going to college and got his GED. And we really started to bond. He started, Daddy, I want to get my life together. He was just bursting out with energy, wanting to do something with his life. I said I was so proud. He took on a ready-made family with 3 girls, and they loved him to death. And everybody said, she got to be part of you because she looked just like you. I said, well, she's my son's daughter, you know? I said, she looked just like you. And I told him a couple of days before he got murdered, I was so proud of him.
We never really had that relationship until right before he got killed. He called me every morning. Him and my husband talked every morning. It was just a beautiful thing. I just felt like I just got me a best friend. Can't nobody take this from me.
And I really thought they was gonna have a bright future. I thought the whole family was gonna have a bright future. I thought things were really changing around for the better for our family.
911 emergency required police ambulance to fire.
I'm riding down the street on Hampton, man, and I shot this boy up. He landed in his car. I'm scared to see him.
I need you to calm down. Where on Hampton?
I'm terrified.
I know, I understand. Where on
Hampton? Like, ma'am, he look like he's scared.
I understand, but we can't get you any help if we don't know where you are.
We on Hampton, 105 in Hampton.
On November 4th, 2008, Gary Griffin Jr., a 31-year-old African-American male, was driving his car east on Hamden Avenue when he happened to run out of gas at about 10617 Hamden Avenue. At this time, he called his older sister in order to drop off some gas at his location. This particular night happened to have been an historic night for the United States of America in that Barack Obama was elected President of the United States. While I was on scene investigating, I heard a lot of people celebrating.
I was talking to him on the phone. I asked him, I said, did you vote, son? He said, no, Dad, I ain't voted yet, but you know, I'm waiting on some money for some gas to go vote. He said, Dad, my one vote ain't gonna make no difference. He said, but I'm gonna see what I can do.
After running out of fuel and speaking with his sister, Gary walked several houses down the street to speak with an acquaintance. After a few minutes of conversation, Gary then walked back to his vehicle and sat in the driver's seat. A few minutes later, a black male emerges from the shadows of the abandoned house where Gary Griffin Jr. was parked, walked toward the vehicle, stood at the driver's side of the vehicle, and fired 4 shots through the driver's window into Gary Griffin Jr. The wounds entered his body on his left side, and he died immediately at the scene. 2 minutes later, his younger sister arrived with fuel to assist him in getting out of the neighborhood.
Before I could even touch the car, the glass just falls to my feet. When I open the door, I'm calling his name, he don't respond to me. So I'm looking, and I'm trying to look at his head to see, did they shoot my brother's brains out? So when I grab on his coat, his head rolled, and he got a gunshot wound in his neck.
My next phone call was her calling me, screaming.
I couldn't do nothing but scream. My brother had been shot in his neck, he not even responded to me.
I get a call that he'd been shot after he voted, and I almost lost my mind. If I had told him to go vote, maybe he wouldn't even been over in that situation and got killed. And that bothers me.
Oh my God!
911. Do you need police, fire, or an ambulance?
Please, my brother is dead. Somebody just shot him. I can't get, please.
Someone just stabbed your brother?
You shot him in his neck. Please. Please.
Okay, ma'am. Where's the person who shot him?
We don't know. We've been calling his phone. He wasn't answering.
All right, listen, you have to calm down to help your brother out.
On November 4th, 2008, while being stranded on Hamden Avenue, Gary Griffin Jr. was shot 4 times with a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol. And after the shooting, the suspect fled through the yards. We're pretty confident that the suspect does live within a few blocks of where the crime was committed. We believe the shooter to be a black male in his late teens to early 20s, about 6 feet to 6 feet 1 inches tall, and approximately 170 pounds. His hair was close cropped. His skin was dark in complexion. He was wearing a hooded sweatshirt along with dark colored pants or jeans and athletic shoes.
I used to always hear people say how they stumbled up on dead bodies, just walking in and seeing somebody dead on a house porch or something. And I used to ask myself, I wonder would I ever stumble up on somebody like that? And I did, and it was my own brother.
Whether you're caught or not, you took your own life also. If you never caught, you still have to live with this. I don't know how you're living with it. If you're a human being, you can't live with it.
How can you sleep at night knowing that you took my brother from me, knowing that you got his mother in pain?
He don't know what he did. He tore his family up. He really messed his family up. And sometimes I sit there and wish I was dead so I could see my son again.
It would mean the world to me because I know it would make my mother and father feel so much better. Please, just my mother is killing her.
He never even got a chance to even know his daughter good. His daughter don't even really know nothing about him because they took him from her. All she knows pictures. That's my daddy. So I would want justice done because of the fact that they took him away from his daughter.